of the California Coastal Trail are special and unique. The Monterey Bay section of the Coastal Trail is particularly special and unique because the Monterey Bay itself is such an amazing ecological feature, and it creates such a splendid backdrop for this trail that hugs the entire edge of the bay.
I was born and raised in Monterey. This has been my home. I represented this area in the Congress. I've traveled all over the world with presidents and traveled when I was, Secretary of Defense and CIA, and we always felt that this is, one of the most beautiful areas on the face of the earth.
The other thing about Monterey is that it's such a draw for the public anyway. You've got historic Cannery Row, made famous obviously by John Steinbeck's book of the same name. You've got the world-class Monterey Aquarium.
We're a small city of 28,000 people, but on any given day we'll have 100 to 150,000 people here, tourists and people who work. We have a symphony, 2 wharves, a downtown, a conference center. It's really kind of amazing. It's what the little engine that could, the little city that could.
And millions of visitors come to Monterey every year to experience this area. They may not know when they get here that the third defining physical feature of the bay itself is the trail that connects all of the communities and all of the natural areas around the bay. It will become immediately apparent to you that you can't go anywhere on the coast of Monterey along the bay without using some part of the trail. It really is the dominant geographic feature here in the landscape.
It really made a lot of sense to have a trail that was there for people to enjoy. The ocean is so much a part of our life that we really wanted to provide a recreational trail that would allow people to bike and to walk and to be able to look out on the Monterey Bay.
So when people come to Monterey and they go for a walk or a jog or they ride their bike on the trail, they just take it for granted. It's so obviously wonderful that I think most people just assume that it was in the plans all along, like Central Park in New York, but that absolutely is not the case. And if it weren't for a very specific twist of fate, what you would be looking at here today is a wall of high-rise luxury condominiums and hotels. And it goes back to 1879 when Southern Pacific Railroad had the right-of-way for train tracks that ran along the edge of the bay. That was back in the days when railroads really were a dominant economic engine and a dominant political force in this area.
At one time, trains came down from San Francisco, passenger trains, but also trains came through here where they mined sand. So all this pristine, beautiful white sand got hauled on to the train. Kind of the urban folklore is that many beaches in Hawaii, which is volcanic, have beautiful white sand, complements of the Monterey Peninsula.
But over the years, the rail line became less and less useful, and then they sent their workers down to just start pulling up the tracks. And so there was a big meeting in San Francisco, and Southern Pacific told the Coastal Commission very clearly, you don't understand, we're not in the railroad business anymore. We're in the real estate business, and that's our land, and we plan to develop it. We went to court, and the court agreed with us. The Coastal Commission won the very first test case nationally for the Coastal Zone Management Act.
Back in the 70s, once the right-of-way was acquired, we were interested in trails, and at that time there was a discussion nationwide about converting old railroad right-of-ways to trails. We were able to get from Fisherman's Wharf by the Custom House right out to the end here at Pacific Grove at Lover's Point. Then the issue was, removal of the tracks and moving ahead with the development of the trail.
When the trail was first purchased, one of the ideas was the right-of-way could be used for some kind of mass modal system. The people of Monterey said, please don't run a train through our Windsor to the Bay on our rec trail.
And then within a couple years, their portion of the trail was implemented through Cannery Row and back through to the wharf.
I think the reason it has been so successful is because it's such a spectacular idea. You'd have to be crazy or a railroad executive to think that a better plan for this landscape would be hotels and high-rises. People love it, they relate to it, they use it. It's just a winner all the way around.
As somebody who's had a chance to walk part of the Appalachian Trail and also to walk in the Sierras, I think the ability to be able to walk a trail 1,200 miles of the most beautiful coastline in the world is a remarkable goal. Giving people that opportunity along the California Trail is in many ways a fulfillment of what life is all about, to be able to understand that as human beings, we have a responsibility to ensure that that beauty is protected.
It's a really common